Hello, family. Welcome to Live Your Legacy. Something's been on my mind very heavily lately, and it's really been bugging me because I do the best that I can to limit my intake of anything that's not going to, how do I say this? I try to limit my intake of bullshit. I try to limit my intake of any type of negativity. Just I don't want to deal with it. But this whole racism thing it's really bugging me because people don't understand that it is not a racial thing what we're dealing with. We are not dealing so much with racism as we are dealing with prejudice, prejudgment. And this prejudgment does have a racial nature, but the underlying problem is not racism, it's prejudice. Hear me out now. Certain black people get treated differently than others. Because this is a status thing. So it's just like with Hispanics or any other race for that matter. There are differences. There are those who work and they contribute to society. They're not so ignorant. They have some sort of education and they speak, like they have some sort of education. They carry themselves differently than the other group of that race who is on government or receives government assistance, doesn't even try to work, has a whole bunch of kids. Like those people, they're the ones that they have a problem with. Now, I know this because I get fucked with by the cops all the time. Well, I used to. I haven't in a while, but I used to get fucked with by the cops all the time, but this is how it always went. They would approach me aggressively, and I know it's because it is because the color of my skin, but as soon as we start talking, their whole demeanor changes, their whole manner, everything changes. They're not so aggressive. They're, regular cops then. Because they see that I have respect for cops. I do. I have respect for law enforcement, and I have respect for anybody until you give me a reason not to. I don't care who you are, what color you are, that's just fact. They can tell that I'm not the other kind of black people that they don't like, that they have a problem with. The same with Hispanic, same with any other race. And it's not so much with whites and Asian as it is with blacks and Hispanics, but they do the Hispanics the same way. They approach them as if they are the lower class until they discover that they're not, and then everything changes at that point. And I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm not. But the problem I have is that people aren't fighting the right fight. And honestly, they're not doing it correctly. You can't force somebody to think the way that you think or behave the way that you want them to behave. You cannot. When you force something, that causes resistance every time. It's like if somebody tried to force me to do something, even if I would have did it under the right circumstances, if you would have just asked, but the fact that you're trying to force me, no, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna do the opposite, probably. You see? Had you not tried to force me to do something, you would have got the result that you wanted. So trying to force people to change their ways because you said so, come on now. The way to go about this is not giving them a taste of their own medicine. Hate cannot defeat hate. All it does is add more hate. No, what you do is you lead by example. And you change the game on them. Start thinking, start moving methodically. Because how everybody, the mass majority of people are moving right now is exactly how they wanted you to. How you're behaving is exactly what they wanted you to do. They knew you were going to do that. And it doesn't fix anything. It just causes more chaos. Now, I do support this whole not purchasing things on how they're doing this every now and then. I'm cool with that because I do believe that they need to understand that without us, what would they be? But at the same time, it's like, okay, why not do it for yourself? Why are there not more black owned businesses? I understand that everybody cannot be a business owner. Everybody doesn't want to be a business owner. But if if you're down for it, why not? If you could see yourself being a business owner, why not? You want to show somebody else how to run a company? Create your own and show them the right way. Show them that you do not need to manipulate people to make $1. Lead by example. And all this nonsense that to me it's just tit for tat. What the hell has that ever solved? Nothing. It just creates more and more bullshit. Like, there's a way to win, and this ain't it. And that's the problem that I have. And it starts with the fact that people don't understand what's really going on. This is not a racism fight. It's like going to the doctors and telling them, oh, I have back pain. They need to diagnose you to treat it properly. Yes, they can just give you painkillers to, you know, mask the pain every now and then, but that's not fixing the problem. You need to find out what the problem is to fix it correctly. And that's what I'm saying. If we're out here trying to fight a fight that doesn't, I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't exist, because racism does exist, but the biggest problem is not racism, it is prejudice. So fight the right fight. Diagnose it correctly so you can fix it correctly. You see? Like, that's really been heavy on my mind lately, and maybe it was because I needed to do a video. Usually I can just refocus, you know, put my attention on something else, but this particular topic has been bugging me. And see, black people, I'm not even gonna just say black people. That bothers me too when people do that. All people, but especially blacks and Hispanics, because I know these particular races excuse me, these particular races have this problem. We are taught survival, and that is our biggest downfall. We were taught how to survive, not how to thrive. We were not taught correctly. We were not taught finances. We weren't taught about credit scores. We weren't taught about credit cards and how to spend our money and how to pay bills correctly. We weren't taught that stuff. So I'm not mad about it, because it's, you know, it's not anybody's fault per se, because it's just been passed down from generation to generation. But at some point, you got to stop and think, like, if my parents were struggling and this is what they did, perhaps I need to do something different, because it didn't work for them, it didn't work for their parents, and it didn't work for their parents. So why would it work for me? It won't. Let's go to the drawing board and figure out how to make this work. What do I need to do? What do I need to change to make this work? And the first thing needs to be your perception, needs to be your mind. Survival mode is not how you make it in this world. I know that, especially people of color, we have to have a thick skin. We do. But we don't really. We don't really. We just got to start doing things differently, and perhaps the outcome will be different. We deal with stuff that maybe other races don't deal with. But there are, I mean, people always say white privilege, and that's not true. That is not a thing. White people, there's, just like I was talking about, there's two sets. There's, you know, the ones who are doing something with their lives, contributing to society, and then there's those who are getting government assistance, not working, having all kinds of babies, strung out on drugs. They don't have no white privilege. Where's their white privilege? they get treated like shit just like every other lower class race. So you cannot tell me that this is about race. It is not. I'm not sure if I was going somewhere with that, but um yeah, just start thinking about these kinds of things. Um you want change? Well, be the change. Lead by example. The things that you don't like about what's going on in the world, well, you do it differently and show people how it's done. That is all I have for y'all today. Um, I hope everybody's doing well, and I shall talk to y'all later. Peace. Hello, family.